What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Greetings from the Garden State. I'm Mike Ham. We're here at Main Street Wine Cellars in Madison, New Jersey, with the owner Amrish Vakil.
Absolutely.
Geez, that's hard to say over and over again. That's gonna be tough during this episode. Amrish Vakil. Amrish, welcome to the show.
You got it. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited, and thank you for doing this for us. Yes.
Yeah, of course. I mean, so we connected because we did the Bourbon Barbecue and Blues event
Absolutely.
at Daddy Matty's Barbecue, which
Yes.
was an episode that had posted before this episode comes out. So everybody will know Daddy Matty's, and now they're going to know you. But that was awesome. You know, like you had all the different bourbons. You were talking about all the different bourbons, and I'm sure we're going to talk a little bit about that later.
Absolutely.
But talk to me a little bit about the business itself. So how long have you been here? All that kind of stuff.
So Main Street Wine Cellar, we bought it in 2006. So it's now almost 16 years I'm at this location. And prior to that, I had a business in Princeton. I had a restaurant, diner.
Yeah.
I don't want to think about it right now because a lot of nightmares. No, it wasn't that bad. And prior to that, I was in New York City for almost 11 years.
Yeah.
So been in retail for last 28 years. But in this business, wine and liquor for last 16 years.
Okay.
Yeah, at that same location.
What made you make the jump from doing the diner thing to now doing this?
Yeah. So very good friend of mine, Nikul Patel. Now he has a couple of wine shops, and he had back in days in Chatham called Hickory Wine Cellar.
Yeah.
And I was newly married back then, and I lived in New York City for like 10, 12 years. And I want to get out of that hustle bustle and come to the suburb and whatnot. And this opportunity came along. So he was like, hey, you want to join me? And we do it together and whatnot. And so I joined him. It's just like any other retail business.
Yeah.
At that time, I wasn't like that much into wine or bourbon or beer per se. I wasn't even drinking back then.
Yeah.
But the opportunity came along as a retail business popped up. So I was like, hey, why not? And I joined his business, learned there for like a year or so, and then we bought this business.
Yeah. So talk to me about that too. So like, you know, you don't have much of a background necessarily in like, you know, you said alcohol.
Right.
And weren't even much of a drinker, so you don't even know like really what your tastes
Yeah,
are.
absolutely. Back then, no clue whatsoever.
Yeah. So then you open up this place, and like that's literally like your whole job. Like,
yes.
That's what we did at the bourbon thing.
Yes,
you know, like
exactly.
I had to know. You had to tell me like this one's this one tastes like this one takes the edge off, whatever it is.
Yeah, right.
You know, so I mean, how long did it take you to kind of get like immerse yourself into that world?
So what happened was, first of all, I just I bought that book from Kevin Zarelli, The Windows of the World.
Okay.
To know about all the wine region. Started taking some half a bottle of wine home and just differentiate what is white, what is red, Pinot Noir, Cabernet, White Zinfandel, whatever the case may be. And then one thing that I did back when I was in Hickory Wine Cellar, this is going 16 years, if there is an opportunity for me to go and try wine at the Wine Expo or the convention and whatnot, I was the first one to be there.
Yeah.
And I was trying, anything comes my way, I will try them. I will never say no.
Right.
A lot of the retailer nowadays, and back then too, they were like, oh, I don't try, I don't have a time. But me, I was always educating my palate all day long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I think is interesting because I feel like a lot of people will just like that own a liquor store or whatever. They just kind of like open up and there you go.
Yeah, there you go. They just
like,
sit behind the counter.
Right. So then you can't really like make recommendations or
Absolutely.
You know, like actually like develop that trust with the customer. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And so what I did, I started trying wine, and I was like, the only way I can go and relate to the customer if I know about it, right?
Yeah.
I can differentiate from apple to orange. If I do not have a taste in my mouth, how could I talk about it?
Exactly.
And whatnot? So going to all these conventions and reading books and whatnot, and over a period of time, you learn every day. You try different wine and pairing with them, food and whatnot.
Yeah.
And so I started then, and all of a sudden, when I joined the business, it was just any other business. I wanted to do good in business. I want to learn the business and take it to the next level. But in between, I fall in love with how it is getting done.
Yeah.
It's just not an kind of an commodity that you buy certain stuff and put it on the shelves. It's not a microphone that you're wearing right now, or
Yeah.
it's not a book, or it's not a what do we call it? You know, it takes a lot into this wine thing, how it is grown, where it is grown, who is the winemaker, the whole 9 yard, and that the passion came in me, and I was like, wow, this is an art. This is like a music or an artist drawing an art or a picture or whatever
Yeah,
he's doing.
right.
So that's intrigued me a lot, and all of a sudden, I fall in love with it, and then I started learning more and more and more, educate myself more, and boom, here I am.
Yeah, which I think is great, and you're right, because I do feel like it's, like an art, because people get into that kind of stuff,
Right.
Just as much as they do some of the
Exactly.
stuff that like that.
Right.
Like you could be just as into beautiful paintings as you can be into like wine and
Right.
you
Or the
just-
music.
Right, exactly, or music, or
You play music, if I'm not. Do you play some kind of a guitar? Or
I do
just,
not.
You don't? Okay.
I look like I do because of the beard, maybe. but no guitar,
Right.
But I do this, and this is an art form.
This is art form,
This is
yeah.
my creative
Right,
outlet, for
right.
sure.
Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah. So let's also talk a little bit about so somebody looks you guys up and they're like, all right, Main Street Wine Cellars, they must sell wine, but obviously you sell a lot more than that.
Exactly.
So talk to me about maybe just like we can see it here in the background of the video. I mean, there's a lot of stuff here. So this is just like you can come here and get anything you want.
Anything you want. Yeah.
Yeah.
We are pretty unique that way. And as around us, I have a couple of pop-up stores. I have empanadas and some desserts and whatnot. But as far as wine and we are not only, yes, we do take a pride in ourselves as a Main Street wine cellar, which
Yeah.
is, I have a passion for wine. I
Sure.
love it. But we have tremendous collection of single malt whiskey from all over the world and whole bunch of bourbon,
Yep.
tequila, rum, gin, lot of craft beer, and I have a new manager, which is not anymore new, but been with us for now almost a year and a change. He's into he's a beer geek, and he loves his beer and craft beer. So we have a huge selection. I would say one of the huge selection in North Jersey as far as the craft beer is concerned.
Yeah.
So we have everything that you need at one location at Main Street Wine Cellar. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I love. And then I've also seen, stuff about like the prices and stuff posted on like a lot of the shelves. Can you
Right.
talk about that too?
Yeah. So what we do is, if you see they're all kind of uniform, we have one color theme going on, which is neon green that we use. But I want to, a lot of the time when you walk into could be a wine shop or a beer or bar or whatever the case may be, and you have no clue, that day you want to drink a juicy, hazy IPA.
Yeah.
Or if you wanted to drink a bourbon, which you never had it in your life, and the glass of bourbon is $15 or whatever, the wine bottle is $45 at the restaurant, how do you make a judgment that this is what I want?
Yeah.
So what we're trying to do is create a shelf talker, read about the wine, search it on Google or wine.com or whatnot, and then if I had the wine, then I would put my input in it that, hey, this is a taste profile that I have on this wine. And then we create a shelf talker. So if you walk in, you never had that kind of Cabernet from Napa or Pinot Noir from Chile or New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc,
Yeah.
you need to know what taste profile is.
Sure.
So you will read it now. Oh, I love boysenberry in this one. I love the dark fruit in this one, or I love the raspberry in the Pinot Noir. That makes your life easier to pick that bottle of wine.
Yeah.
And then we put a food pairing along with it. So
Cool.
if you're going out that dinner with your wife or girlfriend or whatever the case may be, now we know, hey, I'm going to this Japanese restaurant, let me buy this sake, or I'm going to this Indian restaurant, I want to, for chicken tikka masala, I want to put a nice light Pinot Noir, or going to a steakhouse, I want a hearty, good tannin Cabernet.
Yeah.
So we do that, we try to put all this information on one shelf talker
Yeah.
to make the customer's life easy.
Yeah, which I think is great because
Yeah.
I think it could be intimidating for somebody that doesn't
It is.
know. That's why after college I probably drank Bud Light for years.
Right.
Just because I didn't know anything else.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And then it took me, just experimenting on my own to try to find stuff that I like.
Right.
And then,
Right.
but this makes it so much easier.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which I think is fantastic. So, but then also, I would imagine, obviously, if you're here and then most of your staff, you try to educate them as well to try to make sure that they can make those same recommendations too.
Absolutely. So what we do is when a sales rep or a supplier or a wholesaler comes to us with a bag of wine, I try to make sure that my staff is trained. So
Yeah.
my assistant manager, my manager, Andy, assistant manager, Charlie, the manager, Ryan, the third key, whoever are legal over age of 21, because I have few young kids also work, but I make sure that we try along with them.
Right.
And I always I never judge the book by its cover. Okay, he could be 23-year-old young guy out of college, he never had an experience, or a 35-year-old cashier who has been drinking, consuming wine and whatnot. But I always try to take their input
Yeah.
because everybody has a different palate.
Yeah, of course. Right.
So I try along with them and I ask them question. What do you think? Tell me, what do you find in this wine? How does it sit on your palate? Does it take you anywhere? Does it remind you of what kind of fruit and whatnot? And then we make a collective decision. Okay, this is a wine. It will work for us.
Yeah.
And how confident are you that you can sell this wine?
Right. That's the other thing too. I would ask is
Right.
do you like not carry stuff because you just don't really like it or stand behind it or enjoy it?
So certain time, there's a two aspect in our industry. It's like, listen, everybody's gonna go out and they need their Hyundai or whatever the case may be, or
Yeah.
Honda Accord, which is a reliable car. Is gonna take you from point A to point B. In our industry, they call first is a loss leader and a national brand. So Simi, Kendall Jackson, Hess, J-Lo, whatever the case may be, those are a national brand. It does not matter what part of the USA you're going to go. You take a flight to go to Oregon,
Yeah.
go to Florida, go to Chicago. This brand you will find in every supermarket.
Right.
People can relate to it and they will buy. And they are a good bottle of wine, but it does not excite me.
Yeah.
I want that esoteric wine that Mike has a 2-acre property somewhere in Washington, and then he's producing it. There's a lot of TLC in that wine.
Yeah.
It's a family owned.
Right.
So those kind of wine intrigues me more than the national brand. Yes,
Sure.
I have to keep them
Yeah.
and to
Because people know it.
People know it. They will
you know you
relate
can
to
sell it.
We can sell it and
Right.
whatnot. But the wine that is it's a little bit different than those. It's not a factory wine. It's not a big corporation wine, and nothing against them. We need that. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. But what excites me is all small family vineyards. There's a little bit of history behind it, a lot of passion behind that one. Those are the wine that I seek for, and
Yeah.
then I try them and educate my staff, and then that one I take it to my customer
Right.
and try to educate them as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause I feel like that's just like a great way, like we were saying before. I mean, like a lot of times you walk into a liquor store and be like, hey, what do you think of this? And they'll have
Right.
like no clue.
Right,
You know
right.
what I mean? But here it just seems like, and that's one of the things we've talked a lot about on this show is so far is kind of building up that relationship with the customer.
Exactly.
And that's what it
That
seems
trust
like you guys are
that
trying to
you-
do.
yeah,
They trust
exactly.
that you're going to give them a good recommendation.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
when you go to a restaurant and you sometimes you have no clue, but you read it, right? That
Yeah.
hey, this particular dish has this truffle sauce on it and is this way. You still ask the chef, how does it, you
Right.
cook this one? Or I love shrimp and give me some grilled shrimp, but throw it on a bed of a nice salad and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then if I'm having a wine with it, but I still ask them questions and hey, he or she can tell me, oh, this is the way we're cooking this one and on a low heat and blah, 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 blah. And now
Yeah.
I have a little bit more confident. Okay, you know what? I will like it. I will
Yeah.
go for it. Same thing we apply. Food and wine goes hand in hand.
Of course.
And same thing we apply that to our wine that, hey, this is where it's going to go with it. Or ask them a question, what is your taste profile?
Yeah.
Because not every time I like, what are you going to like, okay?
Yeah, right.
Everybody's a different palate. You
Yeah.
know, I have a different background,
Yeah.
crying out loud, and I grew up eating spicy food and whatnot.
Right.
And I never had steak in my life, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
right? But then I educated myself, okay, I never had baby back ribs, and I wasn't eating for whatever reason, but then I was like, you know what? Let me start eating it, because if
Yeah.
I'm going to recommend somebody a good Grenache from a Spanish region, which is a little bit of the juiciness, if it's going to go with my baby back ribs, I need to know. So I started eating that.
Right.
I started going to a Japanese restaurant. I wasn't into what do you call Japanese food or
Yeah.
rolls and whatnot.
Sushi, yeah.
Sushi and
Yeah,
whatnot.
yeah.
But then I was like, you know what? No.
Right.
I gotta eat this
Yeah.
for me to sell good sake
Yeah.
or some good crisp white wine will go with it. I started, and now I fall in love with the food, and now I
you
can
can't stop.
exactly. I
Right.
cannot stop, and now
Yeah.
I can pair them together.
Exactly.
So it's a learning process, and every day till date. Listen, I take a lot of pride in what I did, over a period of time, and know not to other stores and whatnot, but my knowledge in wine is tremendous right now.
Yeah.
I travel the whole wine world for last 6-7 years, and pairing wine with food and learning about the region, the weather, the soil, the winemaker. So I have an edge over a lot of the other wine stores out there, and they have their own knowledge and whatnot. But I have a passion for it. I literally do have a passion for wine.
Yeah.
And until date, it's growing. It's not like, oh, I'm at a level that, oh, no, you learn every single day.
Yeah.
And you educate yourself more and more and more. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Great. Yeah, no, that was fantastic. So that was a great first segment. We went a little longer than I thought we were going to, but that's okay. So we're going to take a short break. We are here at Main Street Wine Cellar in Madison, New Jersey with Amrish Vakil. This is the Greetings from the Garden State podcast. I'm Mike Ham. We'll be right back. It is time for Today in New Jersey History. On December 20th, 1963, tennis player Pam Casale was born in Camden, New Jersey, and raised in Fairfield. At one point in her career, she was ranked 14th in the world and was also voted the most temperamental women's player in the mid-1980s. And that is Today in New Jersey History. All right, we're back. This is the Greetings from the Garden State podcast. I'm Mike Ham. We're here at Main Street Wine Cellars in Madison, New Jersey with Amrish Vakil. So, Amrish, in the first segment, we kind of talked about your background, the background of Main Street Wine Cellars here, the background of the business, kind of your immersion into the world of spirits and wines and beers and all that kind of stuff and pairing them with foods. But I kind of want to take it like a different way, too, on the personality side. Because basically, so like I was just mentioning before off mic, we went to like I said earlier in the first segment, we went to the barbecue bourbon and blues thing at Daddy Maddie's. We met you were doing the bourbon tastings. I said to my girlfriend Ish, I was like, I have to have Amrish on the show, and she was like, hell yeah. So
I'm honored and thank you. Yes.
But just because, I mean, those are the people that we want to talk to, the people that have, like, a personality. So you're always the best-dressed guy. You're the best-dressed guy I've interviewed so far, I'll tell you that right now.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and the best-dressed guy maybe I've seen on social media, but like we were saying with Alex over here, that it's not an act. Like, that's you.
No, that's me.
Yeah.
This is the way you're going to get. This
Right.
is who I am.
Yeah.
24/7. You come Saturday, Monday, I'm going to be.
Right.
Listen, so first of all, I mean, I love to dress like everybody's different. I love to dress. I wish I was at Wall Street wearing a suit every day. I'll be the first one doing it. But that being said, I'm in this industry, and sometimes my wife, why you're going to work? Why? I was like, listen, this is the way I am, and I love to dress to success. That's my motto right here.
Right.
And I want to be different. When you walk into my shop, I have my employee. They all wearing either. If you see Andy, he's wearing a nice jacket, turtleneck. He wears ties. Ryan, if you're gonna mop, you're gonna sweep. You're still gonna put a tie on.
Yeah.
That's the way I tell my employee, if you're gonna work here, this is the way it's going to be.
Right.
Dress to success. I want to be different. I want to be more professional. When I take people to my cellar or talk to them about the wine, I want them to have the full confidence that these people know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So, and that's the reason I am who I am. And I love people. I'm a people person.
Yeah.
All my life in retail, for 28 years, I'm doing it in a different industry. I like to interact with people, get to know them. Business aside, everybody does business. One way or the other, everybody's into different things. But I love to know people and interact with them and talk to them about their life, this and that. And that takes you to a different level. Over a period of time, become a good friends and whatnot, and help each other in different ways. So that's the way I am, and I'm not going to change myself. And this is not an act. I am who I am. This is where you're going to get it. And that's it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love it. And I think that's what we like to see, because, I mean, everybody can put on an act, but that's not how we were just talking about in the first segment. Like, it's not how you build trust. People can smell. People's BS meters are very finely tuned these days.
Exactly.
And the more you're putting on an act, they can definitely tell. So what about the social media side of it? Like, 'cause I know, like we were just mentioning before, too, basically, like, every time I turn on Instagram or go on Facebook or whatever, there's a reel or a TikTok or whatever of you guys doing something here in the store, a boomerang, whatever.
Right.
So what was kind of like the thought process behind putting together those types of things?
So always the social media was always in back of my mind, and always wanted to do it. We started something, but I never had an amazing partner till Alex walks into my life. And she's a game changer, obviously. So a lot of kudos to her. And she's very creative and whatnot. So when we teamed up as a Main Street Wine Cellar, I teamed up with Alex. it changes completely. And then she gives me a lot of good ideas, and I give her the ideas. We talk and whatnot. And it's not easy. A lot of people think this is easy. I'm jumping on it, but it goes a lot behind it and whatnot. And nowadays, everything is about social media, right?
Oh, yeah.
Listen, there is a lot of stores around me in my town, maybe bigger than I am and whatnot, with their bigger pockets, big chain stores or whatever you call it. But I want to be different.
Yep.
As I said prior, I want to bring different things to the table. At the same time, I want to help the community.
Right.
So we started this segment, stay local, shop local, because of the COVID situation and whatnot. I realized, you know what? And I always been like that. Within my mall, I was talking to all the business owners. Hey, why can't we get together and do something that people know that we are here?
Yeah.
That we are different, and we are out there to help community. Bring them to our mall as a unit, not like as an individual.
Right.
It could be Pizza Italian Village, could be La Rosa, it could be Begum Palace, could be a Japanese restaurant, could be anything. But come at this mall as this is one big family, wanted to help the community, and at the same time we do business, obviously.
Yeah.
So all these things came in place last year and a half and whatnot, and I'm super excited it's going to a next level. While we're having fun, at the same time we're helping community. So we go to different shops in Madison. It could be toy shop, or it could be beauty salon, or it could be restaurant, it could be anything. Somehow try to pair up with them and put them out that, hey, they are here in Madison, we are here in Madison, come help the local store. Amazon has a great stuff, or whatever big box store has it.
Yeah.
If you want to spend money, that's okay, but help the local people to grow, and then they will grow. The community will be stronger and better.
Right.
So that's what we've been doing for the last year and a half, and we are super excited that it's working for all of us.
Yeah. No, I love that.
Yeah.
And I think also, kind of as we're going down that road too, so we talked about how you've been here for almost 16 years now. So you kind of become like almost establish yourself as kind of a pillar of the Madison community. So maybe we're going to get more into the community stuff in the last segment, but for this part, I want to know kind of, since you've been here for almost 16 years, are there thoughts of maybe like expanding, or like what does the future look like for Amrish and Main Street Wine Cellars?
No, so obviously I have, this is always churning,
Yeah, right. Yeah. Exactly.
I was in Spain like 2 weeks ago, and Napa prior to that one, and with a very good friend of mine, 9 of us, we traveled together. So by the way, I'm a head of a co-op group called New Jersey Wine Merchant. I'm the president of the group.
Okay.
And we have 40 stores in the group. And hence we travel to Argentina, Chile, Spain, Napa to get wine directly from the winery. So we have an edge over a big box store, and we have a little competition.
Yeah.
But we can bring some quality wine for cheaper price. So that's what I do. That is my job. And put all these guys together under one umbrella called New Jersey Wine Merchant.
Yep.
And that's what I do, and put all this thing together, and that took me to a next level. What else could I do and whatnot? So I want to do some kind of a tapas food restaurant.
Yeah.
I've been to Spain 6 times, and every time I go there and I get excited about what they do over there, I want to bring that culture to US. Eventually that's a big thing to bring the culture, but I want to do something like that. Tapas food joint where you can walk in and you have a Malaysian food and Italian food, have a Chinese, whatever the whole world food in one place under one roof, with few bar in it, a cocktail bar, a wine bar, a beer thing, which is a lot of tap beer.
Yeah.
But you can get under one umbrella and try to have this tapas food. There is one thing that I want to do. Obviously, we want to expand. I have one more shop in Verona, one called Verona Wine Cellar, and I want to expand and get into one more or two more in 2022.
Okay.
To open another wine cellar.
Yeah.
Where the opportunity comes along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that tough, kind of being like spread out like that, and like
It is very tough
because like this place. Every time I've ever been in here, you've been in here, and you're just basically like running the show here. And I know you got good people,
right?
But is that also difficult? Because
it's very difficult. That's the reason you have to hold back and make sure that everything is up and running and smooth in this location.
Yeah.
And the customer service, it's my highest priority, and I take a pride in that one. So I gotta make sure if I'm gonna go to a different location, that here I still have my full attention, and the people who's running this joint, they are understand the requirement what I need from them
Yeah.
to bring that customer service to the customers who are going to walk in here. So
Yeah.
that's a tough part,
Yeah.
and the help is an issue nowadays.
Of course, yeah.
Throughout,
Yeah.
it does not matter.
Yeah, we've run across that with almost everybody we've
everybody
talked to so
right
far.
now we talk to. So
Yeah.
yeah, but listen, you manage it.
Yeah.
That's the reason these people have 5, 10, or there is a chain stores. You know.
Yeah.
So I'll figure it out and make sure that
I'm sure you will.
I get to where I want it to be. Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. All right, so we're going to take our second break, our last break of this episode. We're here at Main Street Wine Cellars in Madison, New Jersey with Amrish Vakil. I'm Mike Ham. This is the Greetings from the Garden State podcast. We'll be right back. It is time for your New Jersey fun fact of the day. Did you know that New Jersey's state dance is square dancing? And that is your New Jersey fun fact of the day. What's up, everybody? We're back. This is the Greetings from the Garden State podcast. I'm Mike Ham. We're here in Madison, New Jersey at Main Street Wine Cellars with Amrish Vakil. So Amrish, in the first segment, we talked about your background, the background of the business, kind of how you've immersed yourself in the life of what you do here at Main Street Wine Cellars. In the second segment, we kind of talked about the personality, the social media side, maybe the future of what you have going on here. But in our third segment of this show, we always like to kind of tie it back into the community. So this is a podcast that's focused on stuff that happens here in New Jersey, the people, the businesses that make the show great, or the state great. So talk to us a little bit about maybe, because we talked about the stay local, shop local. I hope I said that in the right order.
Right.
But talk to us a little bit about kind of your involvement in the community and kind of maybe how it started and kind of how it's evolved over time.
Right. So obviously, I'm so lucky that I'm in this town, obviously. Madison and Chatham, Florham Park, those are the surrounding town and whatnot, and they've been tremendous to me from the get-go, and they helped me where I am today, obviously, you know. And listen, it's a two-way street. If the community is good to you, you gotta give it back to the community, no matter what. So I am very heavily involved from the day one. I came into this town, I was like, I have to give back to the community. And when I came to this town, my pockets weren't this big to do things to compete against Bottle King of the World or the big chain stores or whatever we call it. I was like, how could I get back into the community, give them, and then flourish my business at the same time? And so I did. So St. Hubert Animal Welfare Center is one of the biggest animal welfare center out there in the state of New Jersey. I'm a big partner with them.
Okay.
I must have raised, I would say, hundreds of $1,000s with them because we've been doing for last good 13 to 14 years my annual portfolio tastings with St. Hubert Animal Welfare Center, and all the proceeds goes to them. Unfortunately, because of COVID, last year we could not do it, but till then we were doing it strongly with them. Madison Education Foundation, Chatham Education Foundation, Florham Park Education Foundation. I'm heavily involved with them. If anybody comes and knocks my door, I'm out there to do in-home tastings, charity events, whatever you need for their hockey team or baseball team. I'm out there to help them, and I'm doing it. I did it 15 years ago, 12 years ago, 10 years ago, and I'm not stopping it. I'm going to still keep doing it for cancer research or whatever the case may be. Anything to help community. A local church comes and say, hey, can you do something to raise money? I'm out there. You want to do, can you donate a wine basket or gift basket? I'm out there. On 12th of November, I'm doing for Florham Park Education Foundation beer and bourbon tasting, virtual tastings, and I'm doing that, and I'm going to do a lot of giveaway that we can raise money. Somebody just approached from Lafayette School for November and December. For Milton School in Chatham, I'm doing it like, not a tasting, but I'm going to donate. If somebody comes and spend whatever money they spend, I will give 5 to 10% of the proceeds to the school. So that's going on right now. So listen, if anybody comes and knock at my door and say something for community, I'm out there. Come on down. I'll help you with 2 open hands. My wallet is open. Whatever I can do, I will help out.
I love that. And that's what, I mean, I'm a firm believer, in stuff, my business and kind of what I do, and then with this, that the more goods you put out into the world, eventually like that good comes back. And that's not always why you do it.
Right.
But it's just kind of like you start to vibe with the people that put out the same vibe as you. If you're doing good things will happen to you. And I think this is a case of point right there.
I'm sure your parents and my parents taught us when we're little, you go to church, you go to temple, you do good to people, they will be good to you.
Yeah.
It's a simple motto. It hasn't changed. It's not going to change. Some people does not believe in it. I believe in that.
Yeah.
Circle of life, as they call.
Of course.
You know.
Yeah.
You give it back, you'll get it back. It's not. And at the same time, if I do certain things good to them, if I don't get it back, it's okay.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so I've done so many charity events, and sometimes I'm disappointed that you spend all this time, energy, and money, and there was 300 people, and the result was zero. Like
Yeah.
I sold 2 cases of wine, and I would come back, and my guys would tell me, "Hey, all these things and no result." I was like, "Listen, Andy, that's okay."
Right. Yeah.
Sometimes
It's not always immediate either.
Exactly.
Not
Not immediate, and it's okay.
Yeah.
You did your part. God is saying all these things.
Yeah.
Eventually, will come back to you. So, I firmly believe in that one. That's the way my parent taught me.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna stick to it and keep doing it till I can do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think that's also just a great point, because I think that people that you're building those trusts with. You mentioned doing in-home tastings, kind of thinking outside the box to develop those
Absolutely.
relationships
Yes.
and that trust. So while they may not want to buy something right then and there,
Right.
they'll be you'll be top of mind for the next time. You know
Right.
what I mean? And I think that's really kind of what comes down to. You're developing those relationships.
Yes.
You're developing that trust.
No, and that's organically.
Exactly.
I grew my business organically. I went to knock on the doors and whatnot, and then any charity came in, I'll come to your home, I'll do a tasting, and that's my forte. That's the way I do it. I just did it in Chatham last week. I did a first Japanese single malt scotch and sake, and they had a hibachi food over there, and that's the way. I'm still doing it. So I think outside the box and do something different at Daddy Matty Barbecue. So a lot of people are doing it, but I love it.
Yeah.
And I did it in past, and I'm still doing it. So I bring different stuff to the table than your average wine stores or
Sure.
liquor stores and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love it. Yeah.
No, I love it. I think it's great.
Absolutely.
And then the stay local, shop local, that's something that you're going to continue to do. That's not just a little pandemic project, right?
No, it wasn't okay. The inspiration
Sure.
came through. Everybody's life changed the
Yeah.
pandemic.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole world crying out loud changed because of pandemic. But you learn from them, right?
Yeah.
We were with a few fortunate one that our business thrives at that
Right.
that time.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what?
Much to my liver's chagrin, I guess. But
But so that being said, I was like, you know what? Then I was like, if I'm doing good and other people are suffering, how could I give back to them?
yeah.
So and then we started. It was like, let's go to local stores, which some of them are shut down. The restaurant's not open, or people are not going there. Let's go out there and talk to them, and bring them to front, and let's show whatever follower that I have or people that we can bring those that these people are there. They are struggling. Let's help them, and it kind of worked for us. So I'm gonna take it to the next level. I'm not gonna stay to just Chatham and Madison, Florham Park, East End, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Just anybody that I could help. It could be any kind of business. I'm there. I'm gonna still continue doing that. And we went to East End over with Alex.
Yeah.
She came up with this crazy idea of the bowling, Big Lebowski, the movie that it's.
Yeah, right. I saw
Yeah.
that one. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So it does not matter what town, but if I can help anybody, I'll go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
Keep doing it, and yeah, absolutely. Why not?
Right. Yeah. No, I love it. All right, so let's hit them with the address. If they're driving around, listening to this episode, hey, let me put this in the GPS. Let me head down there. What's the address of the store? Here?
So there's a challenge that I have because I'm kind of tucked in
Right.
a little nook over here.
Yep.
So I am at 300 Main Street, Madison, New Jersey, Madison Plaza. It's in Staples Mall. I know it's a little bit nooked in, but at the corner, Unit 7A. So 300 Main Street, Madison, New Jersey, in Staples Mall, Unit 7A, Main Street Wine Cellar.
And then what's the website, social media handles? Let's hit them with those two.
Main Street Wine Cellars with S at the end at gmail.com. Main Street Wine Cellars.com.
.com. Yeah.
I just gave my email address. Yeah. And
There's a lot of pressure.
yeah,
to get
yeah.
right.
And then the Instagram is at Main Street Wine Cellar.
Okay.
No
great.
S.
No S.
No S.
No S. Alex
So
confirms
it's
no S.
complicated. When we did the website and whatnot, it was kind of gone. So I
Yeah.
had to add an S. So you know how it works. So
Of course.
yeah,
Sure,
exactly,
right.
yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
the back and forth.
So
with
it
the
is a
online
lot of
presence.
people. My personal Facebook is Amrish Vakil, but then it started up to Main Street Wine Cellar because when I started all these things, people are following me, and then we
Yep.
tied up together. Thanks
Right.
to Alex. So it is mainstreetwinecellars.com, and Instagram is Main Street Wine Cellar.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
And like I said, there is an S
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
Instagram.
Okay.
On the Instagram, there
Okay.
is an S. We confirmed
Okay.
Main Street Wine Cellars across the board. Website, Instagram handle, all good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're in the area, if you're close by, I mean, I live in Morristown. I've come down here and picked up some stuff. I will be taking some stuff with me as I go. So make sure you stop in. So Amrish, thank you so much for having us here in your place today. Love it. Got a great selection of pretty much anything you could possibly think of in here. I mean,
Right.
I'm looking around. They got it all. You got it
Absolutely,
all,
yeah,
man.
no, yeah.
So I really appreciate you having me on.
No,
or
thank
having
you
me here.
so much.
Yeah.
No, thank you so much for doing this and whatnot. And
course.
hopefully the message is out there.
Yeah.
And there's one last thing I want to say that
Yeah.
if you're driving around and I'm not a greedy guy, there's a big pie out there. I want a little piece of it. You want to go to my neighbor, Gary's, Bottle King, Wine Library, so be it. But at the end of the day, one day come and spend $10, I'll
Right.
be happy with it.
Right. Just
Yeah?
the experience.
Experience.
The experience
You're gonna
of
get a great
Amrish.
experience. That's what
Exactly.
matters. Yeah.
Exactly. I love it. So make sure we put the address, the actual website, the social media handles in the show notes, along with readings from thegardenstate.com. So Amrish, again, thank you so much for coming on the show with us today, and everybody listening, thank you so much for listening, and we will catch you next time.
Up here all I see, crowded lights on me.